All right, this is a little video on the basics of using spreadsheets. Let's suppose you wanted to get a little list of numbers that let's say it starts at 1, but what you want it to do is you want it to increase by 2. So you want it to go like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So of course you could type 3, 5, 7, 9 and so on in there. But the problem is that would take you forever if it was a really, really long list of numbers. And so one way to get a list of numbers where they increment by or they go up by 2 is what you can do is click in the box below here and hit equals. And what we're going to do is type a formula that refers to the cell above. So this cell that's above is called A3. So what I'm going to do is hit A equals A3 and then say plus 2. And you notice when I hit enter, it puts a 3 in there. So if you click on these boxes, if I click here, you notice up here it says 1 because that's what I typed in there. If you click here, it says equals A3, which is the cell above it, plus 2. So it's simply added 2 to it. Well, so then what you can do is if you mouse over, and you'll notice the mouse will turn into crosshairs, you can drag this down a bit, and it goes 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, which is kind of what we wanted. And so you could drag this down as far as you want. Now the magic of this is that if you click on this one, let's say cell A6 here, it says equals A5 plus 2. Well, I never actually typed that, and so what it did was it copied this formula down. See, that says equals A3 plus 2, and if you click down, that says equals A4, A5. So it has copied that formula down, and so it will go up by 2 each time. So another way that you could accomplish this, so let me just kind of backspace these out of there. We'll delete these guys. Another way that you could accomplish this is you could put over here, I'm going to call it an increment. And what I'm going to do is have it go up by 2. So I'm going to put a 2 in here. And so here's the first element is 1. And then in the one that's below it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say in cell A4, I'm going to type that it equals the one above it. And then what I want to do is add this 2 to that to cell A3. Now I'm going to purposefully make a mistake here so you can see what happens. I'm going to say A3 plus, and then this is cell C3. So I'm going to write C3, and you'll see when I hit enter, indeed it does add 2 to this one. So this is cell 1 A3, and it just says 1 because I typed a 1 there earlier. Then if I click on this one, it says equals A3 plus C3. So I get 1 plus 2 makes 3. Well, now what you'll notice is, let me try to copy this down. So I'm going to drag it down. And it's like, oh shoot, it's all 3s. It didn't do the pattern of 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Well, so a way to troubleshoot this is, you click on this. It says A3 plus C3. So it did what I wanted. It gave me 3 in this cell. But if you click the one below, it says equals A4 plus, and then unfortunately it copied this up to say C4. Well, there's nothing in C4. I don't want to add, nothing to 3. And so the way to fix this is if you go back up to this first one, if you look at the formula I've written here, it says equals A3, which is the cell above it, plus this number 2, that's located in C3. Now what I want to do is I want to add this whatever's in this cell, I want to add it to the cell that's above. And so what I need to do to have it give what's called a fixed reference, it's always going to call this box. What I need to do is modify this formula. Instead of saying C3, what I'm going to do is write $C, $3, and then hit enter. And you'll see that hasn't quite fixed the problem yet. But now if I drag this down, you'll see it, and now it works. Now I get this ascending list. Well, to see what happened here, if I now click on this box, you notice the formula, it says equals A4, which is the cell above it, plus, but then it has fixed this reference to C3. So that's really powerful. So it has gone up, this list has gone up by an increment of 2 because that's what I put in here. Well, the neat thing now is if, say, I change this 2 to a 5 and hit enter, you notice now it has, the increment has changed to 5. So now it's going up by, there's a difference of 5 in between each term. Okay, right, if I change this thing back to 1, now it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I can go back to my original 2. And so the key here was notice the way I've written the formula, or the way I wrote the formula for this one, it says take the cell above it, which is A3. Now I didn't fix that with dollar signs because when I copy the formula down, I always want it to take the cell above it plus this fixed increment. And so if you click down to this one, you'll notice it worked, and that it for cell A6, it says take what's in A5 and add this fixed increment to it. Okay. And the other thing I want to show you here, which can be very powerful, is I want to show you how to write what's called an if statement, because maybe something you do in a spreadsheet depends on an action that is taken on the spreadsheet depends on something that's already a value that's in a cell, let's say. And so what I'm going to do here is put a little column that says is the number, I'm just typing some text, greater than, and let's say 5, question mark. So I'm going to hit enter, and then just so that we can see it, I'm going to make this cell bigger just so we can see what we've typed. So what I'm going to put here in this next box, so what I want to do is have it tell us if the number that's over here is actually greater than 5, and just give us a yes or no, right? So what I'm going to do in the cell below is I'm going to type a formula here. I'm going to type equals, right? And so this is going to be new. I'm going to write if parentheses. Now what I want to do after the parentheses is put some condition. And the condition I want to check is this thing greater than, is what's in cell A3, is it greater than 5? So I'm simply going to type A3 greater than 5, and then I'm going to hit a comma. And then what you do, the way these work is, if this condition is true, if A3 is greater than 5, then it's going to kind of do whatever I type next after the comma. And so what I'm going to do after the comma is in quotations, I'm going to write yes, right? And then, so the syntax of this, of an if statement here, you put equals if, you do parentheses, you put some condition right after the parentheses. If the condition's true, it'll execute the first thing that happens after the comma. If the condition's false, it'll execute the second thing. So after the comma, for it being false, I'm going to put no. And then close the parentheses. And so I'm going to hit enter. Now you notice it says no here because this number was not greater than 5, right? And so now what I'm going to do is copy that formula down. And you'll see it says no, 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 but then suddenly now this is greater than 5, so you'll see that it's changed to yes. So to see what happens here, if I click on this box, it says the formula for this particular box, it says if A6 is greater than 5, then if that is true, then it will execute the first condition, which is to type yes, and so that's why it typed yes. If you go to the one that's before it, it says is A5 greater than 5, and you notice that that was false, and so what it did was it bypassed this, because it was equal to 5, not greater than 5. It bypassed typing yes, and it chose to type a no. And so just so you can see how this really works, it really is going to tell us if the entry here is greater than 5. If I change this increment to 1, you notice it'll say no, no, no until it gets here. And then if I change the increment to, let's say, 10, now this very next one is going to be greater than 5 already, and you'll see that it actually does work. So that's the syntax of an if statement.